This is Pn and Friends. We're here with arguably the #1 MMA gym right now in the world, Miami, Florida. GoatShed with the owner, Asim, who has a bunch of UFC fighters. Just came back from Joe Rogan.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, one of our girl fighters, female fighters, she has the most submissions in UFC history, the most finishes in UFC history for females. She's doing historical things every single fight. She just went to Joe Rogan yesterday, and you see she's here with her suitcase today. She just flew back straight from the airport, straight to training. So we're about to run a special class for her right now.
You know, at Pn and Friends, we do day trading education. What is the champion mindset to you?
Here's the thing. I've had a lot of different type of athletes, and I've realized the commonality amongst the most successful are the ones that are consistent. And I know that sounds simple, consistency, that's a simple principle, but here's the thing. You can't just be consistent, you have to be obsessively consistent, in my opinion. That's what's required to be the greatest of all time in your industry. You know what I mean? So I have a lot of athletes that go through peaks and valleys, train really hard and don't train at all. Train really hard, go on vacation. Then I have other athletes who are up here and stay up here all year long and are ready for any opportunity that comes their way. And they're the ones that succeed more than anybody.
I know your dad owns Apple a Day, that one of my favorite health food restaurants in Miami.
Yep.
How important is nutrition to you, for your team, for all the athletes you have here?
It's a huge part of it, man, because that's just going to trickle down into everything you do. It's going to change the way you feel, and the way you feel is how you're going to perform. And how you perform is what results you're going to achieve. So it all comes from nutrition. That's the start of everything, right? So we got to take care of our bodies, of our mind, through what we're eating. It all starts with what we put in our mouth.
When you were fighting yourself, because you were a fighter, you're a kickboxer, right?
Yeah.
Did you eat a lot of junk food?
No, I actually, you're gonna find this really funny. So my mother owned a convenience store and my father owned a health food store, and they were separate, you know what I mean? So as a young kid growing up, I got either really free candy bars and ice cream, or I got free health food. And I always chose the candy bars and ice cream until my first day of jiu-jitsu. So I did kickboxing, but my first day of jiu-jitsu, I was 10 years old. After that first day, still to today, I've never tasted a drop of soda. I've never eaten candy. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. You know, I follow a completely different lifestyle.
Literally, not once.
No, and that was after the first day I did jiu-jitsu. I haven't drank Coca-Cola or Sprite since, not a drop. I actually never tasted a drop of alcohol or tried a drug in my life either, but you know, that's a different subject.
And then, have you had ice cream?
I'll have, now that I'm not an athlete, I'll reward myself an earned meal after a week's hard work and have like a dessert or whatever it is. No problem. But it's definitely not exaggerated. My nutrition is very important to me.
So like when your UFC fighters win, have you noticed a common thread between like one or two things that they have in common with their nutrition that help them reach optimal performance?
Yeah, that's really interesting. The thing is, with MMA, it's such a complex industry with nutrition, because not only do you have to eat healthy, sometimes you have to lose an absurd amount of weight very rapidly. I have athletes that literally are losing 25 pounds in 4 days. It's absurd, and that, to be honest, that's not healthy. Polar opposite of that, right? It becomes a completely different thing. You know what I mean? You eat for nutrition and performance, but then athletes also in MMA, the last few days leading up to the fight, they have to almost go into this negative calorie state, which is hard.
What do you think about the ice rooms and the ice plunge?
I think those are great. It's a great shock to the system. You know what I mean? And there's so much benefit to it. They're even finding benefit of going into a cold plunge and then going immediately into a workout. There's great benefits of that too. It's just they're finding a lot of new fascinating things about these temperature changes, rapid temperature changes. That's something I would love to implement. And in fact, right now we're working on expanding the gym. You know, we're hopefully gonna nail our investors very soon. And when that happens, ice plunge, sauna, that type of stuff is essential.
Yeah.
And I need that in my gym for my athletes and for my everyday students, just for life.
Do you think ice plunge just helps you with focus, or just
for sure, for sure. Ice plunge helps with focus and all that stuff. To be honest, there's also a lot of other things that I've been using for focus. There's a neurotropic that's all natural, really, really healthy. I gotta remember the exact name of it. Very similar to like Alpha Brain. It's a new supplement called Brain IQ. And I've been drinking this supplement like an energy drink almost. No sugar added, all natural ingredients. Drinking it before my classes. It's almost like a natural Adderall. And it's unbelievable, this Brain IQ. I feel so focused, and literally all my students here will say I'm teaching the best classes I've ever taught.
That's crazy.
Definitely.
But it's crazy because like you're also just, you know, like whether it's day trading and finance or whatever field it is, like the champion mindset. It really is like you can apply that champion mindset anywhere.
You're essentially interviewing me, so I'm giving you all the answers. You told me something at lunch yesterday that resonated with us very well, and I repeated to my whole class today. You talked about delayed gratification. And it's just like, that's it. That's what it's about. Because you got to be willing to sacrifice now for the betterment of your future. And most people want now, everything now. And that's a big mistake also. And I'm sure you see that in finance all the time.
Oh, yeah.
This is an investment. It's going to pay off later on. That idea of delayed gratification, that's everywhere in finances and in athletics. You're going to wrestle now. You're going to stink right now. You're going to be terrible at it right now. But we're talking about 6 months from now, a year from now, it'll pay off. Sometimes I'll teach a skill that won't pay off for 2 years, 3 years. This is truthfully. I've taught things to my student Roy, he's been with me for 5 years, that is now paying off today. It took 4 years before it finally paid off. You know what I mean? But that's what that's about.
Hey, Asim, man. Well, thank you, man. It's a great gym, and I hope your UFC fighters win, you know?
We're going to do it.
Yeah, man.
Let's go, man.